Today, we're going to talk about a really powerful dynamic between two very different people. You have one person who, just to survive, had to build massive walls around their heart. And then you have another who offers this incredibly safe harbor. We're going to see what happens when a fortress learns to open its gates, all because of the patience of an anchor. All right, so let's meet our two main characters in this story. On one side, we've got the fortress, who you might also know as the dismissive avoidant. Just think of them as a lonesome traveler, someone who figured out really early in life that being fiercely self-reliant was pretty much the only way to stay safe. And on the other side, we have the anchor. This is the securely attached partner. They are a secure base, someone who provides this steady, reliable presence that's just calm and consistent. Now, what's so fascinating about putting these two together is the incredible potential it creates. For the fortress, intimacy can often feel like a danger zone, right? A real threat to that independence they worked so hard to build. But the anchor brings something so rare to the table, a consistently safe emotional environment where real change, real healing can actually start to happen. To really get what's going on with the fortress, we have to go all the way back to the beginning, back to their childhood blueprint. You see, those walls they built weren't for nothing. They were a necessary defense, constructed piece by piece, brick by brick, because of what was happening in their early life. This quote, this gets right to the heart of it all. A kid who grows up to become a fortress often hears messages just like this one, either out loud or just through people's actions. Their need for comfort, for connection, it was often dismissed, maybe even shamed. So the lesson they learned was pretty stark and simple. My feelings are a problem, and ultimately, I'm on my own. So how did they deal with that? Well, they developed this brilliant psychological survival tool called defensive exclusion. To avoid that sting of rejection, the child just learns to turn off the parts of themselves that want love and connection. As an adult, this might look like avoiding deep talks or kind of downplaying how important a relationship is. It's almost like unplugging a smoke alarm because the sound is just too stressful to hear. And what's the end result of all this? Their feelings basically get buried alive. That natural part of us that seeks connection, our attachment system, it goes deep underground. They build this whole suit of armor out of self-sufficiency, and they learn to trust their logical mind, not their feelings, to keep them safe from getting hurt. Okay, so let's bring in our other character and see how this all starts to change. Enter the anchor, the secure partner who basically acts as a mirror of safety. They come from a completely different world, one where their emotional needs were actually met, where things were predictable. It taught them that, hey, connecting with people is generally a safe thing to do. So the anchor has this, you could almost call it a superpower. It's called pragmatic empathy. This is the amazing ability to see the fortress pull away and not take it as a personal rejection, but to see it for what it really is, a defense mechanism kicking into high gear. They can understand the fortress's fear without getting thrown off their own balance. And this list shows you exactly how they pull it off. Secure anchors are what you might call conflict busters. They don't take it personally when their partner withdraws. They don't get defensive. They don't try to punish them for needing space. And this whole approach is so important because it stops the fortress from feeling cornered or smothered. And slowly but surely, it creates that secure base where they can finally start to think about lowering the drawbridge. Okay, so what does this journey to healing actually look like? It's a path that has three main pillars. And believe it or not, it often starts in a really surprising place. In fact, the fortress's first reaction to safety usually isn't relief. It's something else entirely. And here's the big paradox. For someone who is used to emotional chaos, calm can feel, well, boring. The fortress has learned to mistake the anxiety of that push-pull drama for passion, for chemistry. So when the anchor comes along and offers stability, the fortress's brain might at first misread that incredible calm as a sign that there's no real connection. But here's the thing. The anchor's consistency eventually wins out, and it's through something called interactive repair. It means that after a fight, instead of things blowing up or ending in silence, the anchor helps guide them both back to calm. And this process, over and over again, slowly rewires the fortress's brain. It teaches them a totally new lesson. Conflicts can actually be solved, and we can find our way back to each other. All right, let's break down the three pillars of this hard-won journey. First up is positive remapping. This is where you use visualization to create that felt sense of safety that was missing in childhood. Second, you develop metacognitive skills, which is really just a fancy way of saying you learn to think about your thinking, to notice those protective parts that want to run and hide.
And third, and this is a huge one, is collaborative skills. This is where they start practicing vulnerability as a kind of hack to build real deep connection.
So this entire journey of transformation leads to an absolutely incredible reward. It's not about destroying the fortress, you see. It's about helping the person who's been living inside feel safe enough to finally come out and reclaim who they really are. As the healing happens, these 8 C's of the true self start to show up. We're talking about qualities like compassion, curiosity, calm, and connectedness. They were there all along, of course, just buried under all that armor. For someone who learned that their feelings were a problem, developing this inner calm and a real curiosity about another person, I mean, that's a massive transformation. This is the real prize, the emergence of a whole integrated person who isn't at war with themselves anymore.
So if there's one key takeaway, it's this. Our past explains why we built our defenses, for sure, but it absolutely does not have to define our future. Change is possible. That childhood conditioning does not have to be a life sentence.
And that brings us to the ultimate discovery of this whole journey. The Fortress learns that what they thought was their greatest strength, that intense self-reliance, was also their greatest burden. True, lasting strength isn't found in never needing anyone. It's found in the courage to be vulnerable, because that is the very heartbeat of a real, lasting, connected relationship. So, I'll just leave you with this question to chew on. The next time you feel that urge to pull away, to put up a wall, just take a second and ask yourself, is this feeling really about what's happening right now, in this moment? Or am I just running a scene from a very, very old script?
Hi, I'm John, and this is I Will Heal. Our curriculum features something for everyone. We know that your pathway to attachment transformation is specific to your parent. Whether you're an FA with a BA partner or an AD recently discarded by a BA, we have you covered. Say for a while, and we hope you'll say, even if for the first time, I will heal.